Okay, so now we made it to the section where we're going to talk about NPM, which is a registry. If you're new to this channel and you would like to follow along with the curriculum, the link is in the description. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. So let's get into the curriculum. NPM. NPM Node Package Manager is a tool for finding and installing node modules. NPM has two major parts. One, a registry of modules. Two, command line tools to install modules. The NPM registry. The NPM registry is a listing of thousands of modules that are stored on a remote server. Remember, thousands. Again, you do not push or commit a node module to your repository. It's huge. All you need are the dependencies that are in your JSON package.json file to be able to pull in those modules. And the Node Package Manager registry is smart enough and knows how to find those modules. These can be required and downloaded to your project. The modules have been contributed by other developers just like you. Remember, you're learning about abstractions. You didn't create these modules. Someone else created them for you. They've been tested, and now you know that they work. That's all you need to know, is as long as it works, I'm okay with it. There is an online version of the registry where you can search for a module by name or desired functionality. Go to online NPM registry and enter read line sync into the search packages input box, like so, right here. Here's the example. And then it tells you it's 10 packages found. And then we have one to read line sync, which is an exact match. An exact match appears as the first result. That is, the read line sync module was required. Clicking on the first result leads to the NPM page that describes the read line sync module. On the details page, you will see usage and statistics, how often the module is used, as we can see right here in the example, instructions on how to use the module, example code, version information, the author or authors, and source code repository. It got a lot of, this is a very helpful page. It gives you a lot of information. In the beginning, this may not make sense to you how to use this page fully, but learn one step at a time, and eventually you will understand how to use this as your go-to resource. And what I mean by that, the NPM registry page. NPM command line interface, CLI. The NPM command line tool, CLI, is installed with Node. The NPM CLI is used in a computer's terminal to install modules into a Node project. Here on this Windows, I use Git Bash. Somewhere down here on my taskbar right here, if you can see that. I don't think you can see my taskbar. I think I'm hiding it. But I have Git Bash as my terminal for my Windows machine. I can use command prompt. I can don't have to use the like I said, the Git Bash. But this is what a terminal does. It allows you to install the modules you need for your project. Now, recall that we coded many node projects inside of Visual Code. So we use Visual Code. Let's pop there. Here in Visual Code, this is what we call the terminal. You can see the word right there, terminal. Now, even though we added the read line sync dependency to the existing package.json, let's go there. Here's the package.json. Let me make that lower. Here it is right here. Notice we have dependencies. Later on, we're going to show you the difference between a dependency and a developer dependency, which is a dev dependencies. There are two different types of dependencies, but you use both of them to allow your program to work. Of course, like I said, the dev dependency is for dependencies that's only useful for when you're in development mode. Dependencies is something that you may use throughout your whole entire project. All right, so let's get back to the reading. Now, code still requires additional configuration because input, or whatever you may decide to name your variable, remember variables can be called anything, they're just containers, is not defined automatically. The final step of requiring readline sync is to assign it to a variable in addition to the required command. We're calling this function, this method, a command. You may have noticed the following line or something very similar in previous chapters. Within your starter code for exercises, studios, or assignments, right here we've used this. You're familiar with it. Here's an example use case. We created the variable with the keyword const, meaning we don't want it to be mutable. It's immutable now. Also mean another word could mean final. Require, which is what we call, what did we call it? We call it the command. And we're passing readline sync. Remember in JavaScript, these can be single quotes or double quotes. You can't do that in Java. Just understand it doesn't matter in JavaScript. And then we pass that object into this other variable called name. And it stores whatever the response is into this variable. And then we can console.log it, print it or display. When you hear those words, you should be thinking console.log or something, or invoking a function. Now, once dependencies are installed into a project, there may need to be additional configurations done on the user's behalf within the project. Now, what that means is that as you become more familiar with programming and developing your programs and your software, you're going to notice that you have out of the box default functionality of modules or components, but you may have to do some configuration. Over time, you'll learn how to do this, and it's definitely a process, but you have to get familiar with the documentation. Start learning how to read the documentation so you can better understand it. As you continue to lay more layers on what you have learned, pretty soon it becomes instinct for you. You're able to read through it. You know how to find information. You'll learn how to solve issues and problems because you understand the process. Okay, so that's the end of this section. Remember, the more you do, the more you improve. See you in the next.